Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MaxSpeedTV. Tonight, I am your host. My name is K.R. Stolfus, and I have a special introduction to give to you. It is 3-Wide Racing League's two-time champion, Mr. Tanner Sharp, is in the booth with me tonight. Mr. Sharp, are you there?
Yes, sir. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. This is pretty much history right here in 3-Wide Racing, their first rallycross event here at the Iowa Speedway, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing these guys turn laps in the heat races and also the main event tonight.
These rally cars, they're a little bit crazy, but I hear you're not too sure of yourself in them.
I tried this out and I wrecked every time. So I prefer just to watch these things go and use these guys use the e-brake, watch them really wheeling and dealing it around the corners. It's gonna be really fun to watch. We got a good talented field in every heat race tonight, including the main event. So every single driver that's participating in this event tonight is extremely talented, and it's gonna be extremely fun to watch. I promise you that.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and this is Max Speed TV. Getting our shot at 3-Wide Triple Crown Series. What that Triple Crown Series is going to be is 3 races here in the rally session. And then later on this year, we're going to have another 3 races, but they're going to be in the sprint car. And then a final set of 3 races, and that is going to be in the Indy car. So that's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely, and got to make note of the rallycross races. We got Iowa Speedway, which is tonight, and then following week, next week, should be Lucas Oil Raceway. That's gonna be another good one. And then we go to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, on March 5th. So we got some rally racing to do these next upcoming Mondays here, KR.
We sure do. We sure do. So here we are. Is this we switched into practice, or is this moved right into the heat race?
This is the heat race session. We got 10 minutes of practice, so it should be coming up soon. No, they're in qualification right now. Pardon me. So it looks like it's like a group qualification. A bunch of drivers. Looks like who was number 1 in the practice here? That was Drew Eisman. He's gonna be one to watch. He's a great road racer. If anybody's seen Drew Eisman drive any kind of road racing, I mean, he's gonna be the biggest factor tonight. And so far, he's the only driver that I have seen, actually one of the only 4 drivers I've seen that have clinched a 39-second lap time here tonight. So watch Drew Eisman, see what he can do to get a pole.
I'll tell you what, I already like Drew. He's got my race car number.
77.
Yeah, that's my number. And Drew is on pole already with QuickTime. His best lap time of 39.727 is good enough for the fastest lap so far.
And he ran a 39.053 in practice trim, but so far it's a little slower, but it doesn't really matter. Everybody else is pretty much running in the 40-second bracket. I have seen some guys do the 42-second bracket, just trying to gain some experience. That's the biggest thing in this first rallycross race, is if you're not very good at it, you can gain experience, and this is a great way to gain experience and learn from other drivers out there on the track.
It sure is, and one of the things I like about this car is throwing it sideways and smashing the gas doesn't necessarily make you fast. You kind of got to work the throttle a lot when you're sideways, even on the asphalt.
Yeah, there's a lot of throttle control here in the rallycross, especially when you're trying to maneuver the car with the steering wheel. Throttle control is going to be your biggest thing. If you can avoid all kind of mistakes coming off the exit of the corner using that e-brake, you for sure will be running up towards the front and possibly winning this race.
Cars going airborne over jumps, got to set it down and get turned for the next corner. Here, this track, like I said, we're at Iowa here. I wasn't very successful anytime I tried to run here at Iowa.
Well, I've had some success on the oval standpoint here at Iowa. I actually consider this track more of a sister track to Richmond on the oval standpoint, but we're not racing the oval. We're racing the rallycross version, and I guarantee I'll probably get my butt kicked if I ran with any one of these guys, but that's okay. It's always a good, fun way to watch these guys, to learn, especially up here in the broadcast booth, KR, just to watch these guys really when they get into the corner, when to e-brake, when to get in the throttle, how much throttle to use. I mean, there's so much stuff going on inside that race car that not a lot of people outside the car would understand.
No, they don't. And, something that might need to be explained is the Joker lap. What the Joker lap is essentially there's the main racing line, and most of the laps are going to be turned on that main racing line, but everybody will have to do one Joker lap, and it's going to be taking a different route, so to speak. And as you see in the shot there, it's pointing to the Joker lap. And we'll go over that some more in the heat races. I don't think anyone's going to be taking it here in qualifying.
No, not right now. Right now, everybody's trying to get their laps in, trying to get the best lap that they can. I've already seen Drew Eisman improve on his lap time from practice session. He's already running a 38.910. Jordan Teal's in second with a 39.189. So it's actually close lap times, separated by 0.2 of a second between the first top two guys. And Johnny Thomas, another great oval racing driver here in the 3-wide racing league, so far sitting currently in third with a 39.727. So those top three drivers right there are going to be some fast guys here.
So we're just under 5.5 minutes left of qualifying here. So the setup on these things is absolutely different. It's completely insane. You got to figure out the power transfer between the front and rear tires. And I'm no good at it, and so I just run the iRacing setup. How many guys out here do you think are running the iRacing setup versus guys that spent some time working on their setups and have that part nailed down?
Well, in the 3-wide racing leagues, especially from my understanding for tonight's event, everybody's driving the same setup. So you're not really adjusting too much on the car except what iRacing itself allows you to adjust in a fixed setup session. So everybody's practically driving the same setup. It's just a matter on more focusing on your own driving ability to get around this rallycross course on dirt and asphalt and when to e-brake. It's more giving the driver to focus on that than just the car itself.
So with it being a fixed set, that means everyone has the same deal. So it really just comes down to who can get the most out of that setup.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just you just got to have a mistake-free race. If you can have a mistake-free race, because there is some drivers here tonight that will probably accidentally loop it off the racetrack or hit some kind of a barrier or tire barrier here tonight. So it's just, if you're starting in the back, try to avoid as many mistakes as you can. And if you can do that, there will be other mistakes by other drivers, and you can gain on that.
Gaining a mistake, when gaining on a driver when he makes a mistake. Sorry, a little tongue-tied there. As we just watched Kyle Henshaw take the Joker lap. But gaining on them when they have made a mistake in a fixed setup series is very key, especially on oval. But here in Rallycross, the cars are all over the place. Mistakes going to be a big deal here. I don't know yet. I want to find out, but I know it costs you a lot of time on the oval in a fixed setup.
Yeah, it does. You know, on an oval standpoint, it's going to be completely different than what we're going to be witnessing here tonight. There's just so much more driver ability in these rallycross races. It's like going to a road course race, and you're really, it's really in the driver's hands, too much like an oval session. So tonight, these guys are, and I'm already seeing a mistake by Levi Zielinski. They're hitting that barrier. That's one thing you got to do, is avoid them barriers. Avoid your mistakes. Have a good race tonight, and you'll probably finish up there closer to the top 5, or maybe even the top 5.
The other thing you got to watch out for is those tire barriers being hit by other drivers and getting into your path in the middle of the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing you gotta avoid. Is try to avoid them drivers who are in the middle of the track. Avoid hitting them tire barriers. So if you can get around that, that's taking advantage of someone else's mistake, and you can gain track position by doing that.
We're watching Chad Brown now here in the Volkswagen Beetle. That's something I never thought I would ever see in the rally circuit, is a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, I never even thought of iRacing ever having rallycross, quite frankly. I've been a member for quite a long time now, and I didn't even think they were ever going to get dirt. But I tell you what, iRacing's really put the pedal to the metal on a lot of things, a lot of content they have released in the last, I would say, 2 years, KR? So correct me if I'm not wrong. So, and them tire barriers actually get in the middle of the track. That's like having debris out there on the track. But yeah, iRacing's released all this content, and I've just never would have thought it would come to this, but it has.
Yeah, I remember several years ago doing a round table conversation about iRacing with a group of people. We were discussing dynamic track and how iRacing was releasing it, and all this was going to be, really cool. And at the time, there was only asphalt for iRacing. And I said, you know what, guys, with dynamic track, they're probably going to be able to do dirt. And lo and behold, a few years, I think it was about a year later, they announced dirt, and here we are today with dirt, street stocks, sprint cars, late models, modifieds, and it's also progressed into global rallycross, which is what we got going on today.
Yeah, and you mentioned that dynamic track. That really changed the complexion of racing itself on iRacing. Track temperature is such a key feature now. It matters. No matter what race you're really in, it matters. And on top of that, we're going to be getting day-to-night transitions soon. Hashtag soon. If anybody's on Twitter, hashtag soon. So, they say that we come out later this year. We'll have to see. But I tell you what, having day-to-night transitions and having that track temperature change, it's going to be a whole nother level again.
So the day-to-night is going to be really awesome in the 24-hour stuff. But, for the global rally cars, can you imagine driving these things for 24 hours?
Not for 24 hours. I would say I would just keep my car in check throughout the whole 24 hours. I think that would just be a little bit of a nightmare, in my opinion. But who knows? I mean, I've seen some crazy things happen on iRacing. I've seen Indy cars at Daytona. I mean, a lot of people do them now. But I've seen the stock cars, like the NASCARs, driving Circuit of the Americas already. So you never know. You just never know.
Yeah, crazy things happen. Checkered flag is in the air for qualifying here. And it looks like Drew Eisman is going to be your quick time qualifier with a 38.910. Jordan Teal second, Johnny Thomas third, Carlos Acosta fourth, and Levi. You know what? I'm going to let you say these names.
Yeah, Levi quote Rowdy Zielinski. He likes to nickname Rowdy, but we can call him Levi Zielinski on here. But Kevin Finn's going to qualify in the 6th position here tonight in the first heat race. Chad Brown in 7th, Corey Lindsley in 8th, and Kyle Henshaw in 9th. 9 drivers are going to start this event here at Iowa Speedway, and the top 5 guys are going to advance to the main event, which is going to be the 15-lap race, which is the biggest race of the nights tonight. But this is just the main feature, so try to get around this main feature, collect as much information as you can, and if you finish in that top 5, you're in that main event.
Well, they are gridding up right now, so we got to find a camera shot where we can see these guys as they take to the grid. I found one, I think. So gridding underway for the heat race, and the way this is going to work tonight, these guys are going to do their 10-lap heat race. We're going to go to some commercial break as we load into another session, and then the next group of guys are going to get the same thing. 5-minute practice, 10-minute qualifying session, and then we are into heat race number 2. And then after that's the main event. So here we go. Green is in the air.
Good start by the top 2 drivers of Drew Eisman and Jordan Heel as they make the first right-hander of the night. Here goes Jordan Heel in the 33 taking the lead. Actually, no, he's not. That's Eisman taking the lead. The 33's on the inside row. A lot of drifting. This could be the biggest mistake corner of the night. Oh, there was a mistake by
the 77 to Eisman. He's going to take the Joker lap there, and it's going to shorten up his lap, put him back in front. But everyone will end up doing the Joker lap.
Eisman out front here, but we got a big old stack of contact between the 24 of Carlos Acosta and the 33 of Jordan Heel. That really knocked the 24 out of sideways there, allowing the number 14 of Kevin Finn. Oh, around goes the 24 of Carlos Acosta. Oh, someone else hit the barrier too. Who's that? That was Johnny Thomas? That was Johnny Thomas.
Johnny Thomas into the wall trying to dodge the spinning 24 of Carlos Acosta, but everyone straightens out, keeps going. And these cars, they're very susceptible to wheel damage, but they are able to keep going with that wheel damage as we watch multiple cars take the Joker lap. But meanwhile, Drew recovered very nicely from his mistake, used that Joker lap to get out of traffic, and has still managed to hold on to the lead here.
Yeah, that was just quick thinking right there too. Being the Joker on that standpoint, Jordan Teal's actually not too far. Teal's not too far behind of Drew Eisman. That's something to monitor in this 10 lap of heat race here tonight. Biggest gainer in the field I've seen so far is Corey Lindsey in the 25 machine.
Corey Lindsey is currently sitting fourth. I believe he started 8th or 9th, if I remember right.
Back of the pack.
Yeah. Started 8th out of 9 cars and has made his way up now in the 6th spot as a couple cars took the Joker lap.
Feels going to be around the 14 here of Kevin Finn. This would be a pretty good battle for second place right now here, KR.
We do. We're watching the 14 of Kevin Finn, the 33 of Jordan Teal go at it. These guys getting after it here, but Drew Eisman just pulling away now.
Pulling away right now, and he wants to see those guys in that rearview mirror just battling side by side. Right now, the closest battle would be for second place on track.
Ooh!
Oh, Corey Lindsey hit the barrier.
Kevin Finn in trouble here.
Oh.
Kevin Finn slammed into the inside wall trying to cut it a little too short. Unable to he just missed his line by just a little bit.
And the driver that took advantage of that, he has been blinking just a little bit, but it's not in a severe case. That is Kyle Hanshaw, currently in third, started last, actually, in ninth.
He did, and running third place right now, doing a great job keeping the car going. Probably a real good example of just running your own race and letting people crash all around you and avoiding them while you're at it.
That was one of my key notes at the top of the show was, taking advantage of other people's mistakes. And Kyle Hanshaw is actually one of those drivers. I gotta see around his car, see if he has any kind of. I'm not really seeing. Actually, yeah, he does. On the left front, he has some damage, but although still running strong in third place.
He is. We got 5 laps to go, so just over halfway here as Drew is coming around to start lap number 6. Got 2 corners left on this lap. And I'll tell you, this is a hard and technical section of the track because you're transitioning and going straight into a jump right as you're transitioning from not only tarmac to dirt, but then there's a corner right in the middle of it. So a very tough opening section, ending segment and opening segment to this lap.
Yeah, I do. I 100% agree with you. That it seems like is the most technical part of the racetrack, as we've seen a couple of incidents already in that part. Actually, at the start of the race, we've seen a bunch of guys take that corner. A lot of them kind of got through it pretty clean. But the main corner I'm really curious about is where Drew Eisman's at right now, just before you transition to the dirt. That just seems like the trouble spot this evening.
Yeah, we saw Kevin Finn, just misjudge where his nose was. Caught that inside left-hand wall there, and it cost him 2 positions. Jordan Teal got around him, and Kyle Hanshaw got around him, and Finn is still unable to track down Hanshaw.
Yeah, Levi Zielinski's really smoking pretty bad on the racetrack right now. He's in that final corner back there, making that turn. Must have hit something really hard, hit the wall really hard, or a barrier.
Yeah, we're watching Levi spray for mosquitoes here. Hopefully they'll all stay away. So Levi in the 59, currently running 9th with heavy damage to his cars. Got 2 laps to go. Hopefully he can make it here to the finish. But, only the top 5 drivers out of each heat race are transferring on to the main event tonight.
Yes, it is. Oh, and Hanshaw hit the barrier. That allowed a barrier to be right in the middle of traffic's way. Right now, he's pretty much kind of trying to limp it right now, limp it home. Still currently in third. Actually, Kevin Finn's not too far behind. Oh, it was almost a mistake there. Actually, Finn's around Johnny Thomas. Here's a pretty good battle. Looks like Thomas kind of made a little cut through there. I had to rewind my replay here just to figure out what all happened, but they're still battling. This is a really good battle between Kevin Finn and Johnny Thomas right now.
Kevin Finn, Johnny Thomas are battling, but one guy with nobody around him is Drew Eisman. Let's just start calling him the Iceman. A lot simpler because this guy has got no fear, no mistakes, except for the one where he saw him run wide on the opening lap, but he recovered nicely and has just pulled away from the field.
He has, and he's going to come and take the checkered flag here right now. Drew Eisman is going to win the heat race #1, and this guy right here, he's got so much talent. No matter what he's driving, whether it's on oval, road, rallycross, he's got the talent to drive, that's for sure.
Doing a great job, and we're going to go and see if we can't pull him up for an interview. Drew, you got your ears on?
Yeah, I got you.
Drew, welcome to the MSTV broadcast booth. Congratulations on your Heat 1 victory.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, give us a little bit of a rundown of your race there, as it looked like the opening lap was a bit crazy for you.
Yeah, I missed my little flick into turn 1, and then I ran wide and got kind of behind the 8-ball, and then had the opportunity to take the Joker and get some clean track. So I took it and just, tried to put down consistent laps, and worked out.
So you've done such a great job at finishing that you had no cars around you, even though when you did take that Joker lap, cars were everywhere. So what was the key to this? Just smooth driving and not tearing your car up, or do you have a little secret that you don't care to share?
Not really. Just, if you keep the car clean, then you're going to have a really good chance to have a good finishing position. So, once I kind of got back in the pack a little bit, I just wanted to make sure I could, do the lap times that I know I'm capable of doing without getting involved in any incidents. So, as soon as I saw that opportunity for some clean track, I took it and worked out.
Well, again, congratulations on your Heat victory. Any sponsors, people you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thanks to Corey, putting this together. It's something that not a lot of leagues are doing with this Triple Crown series, and it's pretty cool to get to try 3 different cars all for one championship. So that's really neat. And then 3 wide and you guys for broadcasting. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much, and good luck to you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Drew Eisenman, our race winner for this Heat race #1. Tanner, what do you think of that so far?
I think that's some pretty exciting action right off the bat. As soon as that green flag dropped, it was like, right away, these guys were going right after it. Really got to tip my hat to all these guys, really, especially one of the drivers, Kyle Hanshaw, come from starting last, and you finished 3rd. That's a pretty good accomplishment. It's got to give you some vote of confidence entering that final heat race. So you got Drew Eisman, Jordan Teal, Kyle Hanshaw, Kevin Finn, and Johnny Thomas all advancing to the main event here tonight.
Those guys advance. Those who do not advance are going to be Chad Brown, Carlos Acosta, Levi Rowdy Zielinski, and Corey Lindsay. Lindsay, who was up there, but then was unable to hold on to it. So count him out for his own main event.
Yeah, he has, but that's very unfortunate. But I'm sure he's going to enjoy the broadcast if he is watching, or also watch other drivers out there and enjoy the main event here tonight, including the second heat race.
The second heat race, which is going to fire up here in about 6-7 minutes. So we're going to have to step away for a minute while we go to commercial. Any closing thoughts that you want to share from Heat 1 before we disappear for commercial?
Well, just by watching Heat Race #1, man, it's going to be exciting as soon as that green flag drops right off the bat. And we got some couple technical corners tonight that we're going to keep an eye on and kind of really go from there.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. That final corner, the transition into tarmac and dirt, and then you jump and across the start-finish line. That's going to be an interesting spot to watch all night. So.
Sure.
That's going to do it for segment 1. While we're away, if you guys want to check out the website, it's 3wideracingleague.com. That is the number 3wideracingleague.com. You can sign up, register for this league. You have till March 5th to do so. So if you're interested in it, get on it. As you can see, as 3 Wide Racing, presented by MaxSpeedTV. Guys, we will be right back.
The car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook, we are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero. Rising like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero. Just like in a dream, just like in a dream.
Welcome back, folks, to Max Speed TV. Checkered flag has just flown in the air for this practice session, so we are moving on to qualifying. Once again, in the booth with me is Mr. Tanner Sharp. How you doing tonight? Ready for Heat 2?
I'm totally am ready for Heat 2. We got some pretty good talent in this field for Heat 2 right now. We got some couple past champions and just recent champion of the Cup Series, which was Peter Short. Paul Ross is in this race. Nick Miller. Samuel Close, also a past champion. We got a lot of past champions here. We're going to be really gunning for tonight's win here in Heat Race number 2. And it looks like, according to practice and according to the times, Paul Ross and Peter Short are going to be the ones that really going to be tending for the win tonight, unless somebody really steps it up.
You know, anyone could step it up and surprise in the Global Rallycross, as we saw several cars in Heat Race number 1, get into some trouble, smoking, tire damage, front end damage, all kinds of damage. So it can happen to anybody, it seems like.
Yeah, it definitely can. You have to understand with these rallycrosses, especially.
You there, Tanner?
Yep. Got it. It is Iowa Speedway, and it's a 0.66 mile little course with 8 turns. So, and you got to try to really wheel and deal and avoid those mistakes. We've seen in Heat Race number 1 that that if you have a mistake, it's going to cost you, especially if you hit a tire barrier. But we've also seen drivers who have taken advantage of other people's mistakes and finish in the top 5. So, hopefully tonight there'll be a mistake-free race by all 6 of these drivers are currently starting in this event. And we'll kind of go from there.
Well, it's going to be, another interesting heat race. Once again, only the top 5 are going to transfer on into the main event. And as we're watching these guys qualify, we got 6 cars in this session. And of the 6, all of them are out there turning laps.
Pretty close times, though, too. Peter Short's currently the fastest guy on the racetrack. Samuel Close is another fast one. Wade Lear ran a 41 in practice, just in this little short practice session earlier, and now he's already hitting the low 40s. So he's actually gained. And Paul Ross goes to second on the board, beating Samuel Close. So it's going to be some close times between, I should say, the top 3 drivers. We did see what Drew Eisman did, take that Joker lap and really ran away with it. We'll see what Peter Short will do once we turn the green flag on.
I'll be waiting for that green flag because this qualifying session has got about 7 minutes, 13 seconds left in it. Green flag dropping on the heat race right after this. And I really enjoy driving these cars. We talked a little bit about the dynamic track coming out and the changes that iRacing has made in the last few years. And, I spent some time driving these cars. I am nowhere near as fast as most of these guys, but they're fun cars to whip around.
They look a lot of fun to whip around, but I tell you what, these guys are really working inside these cars. And we did make the comment earlier that we don't know if everybody's going to really fully understand how much they're really working it. It's not all just about left or right-hand turns. There's a lot of handling involved in these cars, especially a lot of throttle control as well.
Throttle control, what's that?
Just off the gas, on the gas, using the brake a little bit, and then turn around using the e-brake for the tighter turns. Yeah, it's a lot to get used to it. And the crazy thing is that if you can get into a rhythm with that rhythm, you can really have a successful race. It's not just on an oval standpoint. It's rallycross, road racing. Just keep it in a rhythm, and you'll be just fine.
Well, you know what? I don't know all about that rhythm thing. There's a reason why I don't play an instrument.
Good point.
I don't have very good rhythm, and I barely can walk most of the time. I'm such a klutz. It's amazing I know how to drive a car.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to it. I'm not an expert at rallycross or anything like that. I actually hate driving them, but just by watching it and understand how these cars whip around the corners, it just makes more sense to me. And maybe, who knows, maybe one day I'll hop into one of these cars, and it's like, oh, I picked this up from this race. Maybe I can try this. So it's a lot of things you can pick up in a booth.
Speaking of picking up in the booth, I do appreciate having you along with me here tonight. We were talking about it, and we're looking like this could be an ongoing thing. Might even convince you to do a race or two and be our in-race reporter. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. But for now, tonight, I'm really going to be enjoying these rallycross races. I just can't wait till that main event because you're going to have 10 guys. Where the first heat race you had 9 guys. You had one more car in there. It's going to be an exciting main event.
It is, and we're watching Rusty Webb, currently scored 6th. His best lap time so far is a 41.364. Peter Short with a 38.393. If I remember right, the fastest lap in our first qualifying session was only a 39 something, wasn't it?
It was a 38.
It was a 38.
It was a 38. Yes, it was. So, really, that's why I was mentioning that main event's gonna be really exciting because you're getting them guys who are running the 38s and throw them into one mix for like 15 laps tonight. I mean, you're due for some exciting racing. Who's gonna pull away with it? Who's gonna catch up? We've already seen a bunch of guys start from the back and then finish up towards the front. So, this is gonna be one exciting thing, especially when we go to Lucas Oil in a week's time and Daytona. So we got 3 of these things. We got one tonight.
We do, and we're doing Daytona and Lucas Oil, as you said. So this is race 1 of the rally part of the Triple Crown. Wow, so many numbers going through my head right now. Race 1 of the Rally Triple Crown version. Don't forget, we do have the sprint cars and the Indy cars that will be later on this year. And it's just a great event that 3 Wide Racing League is putting on. Not only we're going to do Cup Series and Truck Series for most of the year, but we're going to end the year with the second and third stages of the of the Triple Crown. Oh my gosh, I will spit it out sooner or later, I promise.
That's all right. And the 3 Wide Racing League is doing so much. Ever since it really came to iRacing, they've gone through and done through so much, and it really brought the league to a great standpoint. Brought better competition every single year. Not stress that enough. I've raced with these guys, and these guys just know how to get it done. Sometimes they know how to roughhouse too, but that's okay. That's part of the whole racing aspect. But watching these guys up here in the booth tonight, it's pretty exciting to watch for sure. I can only imagine what's going to be like battling side by side with them.
It's a good time there as we watch Peter Short have a little quick exit out of the track as we went on board with him. Crashed his car in dramatic fashion.
I were to keep an eye on tonight. I was watching him in the practice session that they hosted earlier tonight. It wasn't on the air, but there was a 30-minute practice session these guys got, and there was 2 of them. And one guy I'm going to watch out for tonight who could hunt down Peter Short, and that's going to be Paul Ross. He's already run the 39, pretty close to the 39 flats here, and if he can just gain that extra time closer to Peters, he'll be a contender for sure. And Paul Ross is a past champion of this series, or not this series, but of the league itself. So just keep an eye on Paul wherever we go.
Paul now navigating the super tricky transition from tarmac to dirt and then the jump. Makes it look easy.
Yeah, a lot of these guys tonight, that's one thing I've noticed there too, KR, is these guys actually do make it easy. There might be some mistakes here and there, but I tell you what, I've been making more mistakes than what these guys are doing, so I guess they should not feel bad.
Paul Ross laying down some rubber there as you see him throwing it sideways, getting onto the Iowa Speedway banking. Most of this track here in the rally circuit is ran in the infield of Iowa, and then that one turn will be part of the Iowa Speedway banking. And it really creates a transition when you're coming off the banking down into that final turn to set up for the jump and then cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, I just wonder if that part of the racetrack is slick when you get into the e-brake, because the track temperature is showing 101 degrees, which is fairly warm out there. And when you transition going off the banking into the apron to make that turn, I just wonder if it's really slick down there. I mean, we've had seen where Paul Ross is right now. This is the corner right here, the final corner. It has been pretty much the trouble spot of the night, with the exception of that technical corner after the hill.
Sam Close going end over end in the Herbie paint scheme. Put a scratch on it with that little faux pas. Paul Ross, as we're watching here, still currently scored second, 39.056, so almost breaking into that 38 second for Paul Ross.
Yeah, he almost got it done, and Sam Close is not too far behind. So I just wonder, and this was qualification. So qualification checkered flag is out. So this will pretty much be our starting lineup here, with Peter Short capturing the pole by a pretty good margin over the second place of Paul Ross.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Peter Short, Paul Ross, Sam Close, Wade Lear, Nick Miller, and Rusty Webb are your 6 qualifiers for this. And remember, only the top 5 are going to transfer on into the main event here. And it looks like one guy's going to go home in this heat race.
Yep, and it's just who's going to be that one guy. We'll have to find out. We have seen the last place driver from heat race number 1 actually finished 3rd. So he took advantage of those other mistakes. Finished 3rd. So anything is possible. So I'm curious what Rusty Webb can do in this race tonight.
Rusty Webb currently scored 5th. Looks like we're ready to rock. We're ready. Oh my goodness. I'm Tanner, I'm just so excited you're here. I can't even talk.
I appreciate not just yourself for giving me the opportunity to be in the booth with you, as well as Corey for giving me the opportunity as well. So I appreciate both of you for having me up here tonight.
10 laps to go in heat race number 2. Looks like all 6 cars are on the grid.
Green, green, green.
Here we go.
Flag is in the air.
Ooh, was Paul Ross caught sleeping on the start of the race here?
Paul Ross definitely lost some ground early on, but way out front, all by himself, is Peter Short, getting it early here, getting a great launch as Rusty Webb. Nope, sorry, that is Nick Miller in the tires in the back of the pack, straightening out and getting back going again.
He's going to have to try to really hope for someone else to do the same thing. Samuel Close right now in the 2nd spot, being followed closely by the old 3 car of Wade Lear, as the first lap is going to be completed by Peter Short, your race leader.
The 18 machine of Paul Ross I have scored as the race leader. Did I miss?
I must have missed something.
Peter Short taking the Joker lap, so he might have gotten into some trouble somewhere that we missed.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
but
that was almost contact there coming out of the Joker lap between the 5 of Sam Close and Paul Ross. That was freaky.
the 5 of Sam Close really throwing it sideways into that sharp turn coming down off of the Iowa Speedway banking. And we got a 3-car battle here between Sam Close, Paul Ross, and Wade Lear.
This is a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on track right now, with Sam Close out front, Paul Ross, Wade Lear. Pretty good competition right here between all 3 of these guys.
Yeah, Peter Short starting to pull away a little bit. Rusty Webb, final transfer spot, running, kind of all by himself with a large gap over Nick Miller. Nick Miller struggled there in that opening lap, caught the tires, and had to spend some time backing up and straightening out.
Short as still pulling away. He is not feeling any kind of pressure whatsoever. Like Sam Close being followed closely by Paul Ross. I know Paul's just a little bit faster than Sam, but I tell you what, they have identical lap times from practice and especially qualification.
Yeah, these guys lap after lap here. We've done 3 laps in this heat session, but they turned 10 minutes of qualifying, and they still haven't decided where they want to run.
An interesting battle to see between the 5 and the 18. Looks like Wade Lear's kind of fallen off the pace of those 2 drivers just a little bit. Oh, Paul Ross is in the barrier.
Paul Ross in trouble here. drove straight into the barrier, but able to get straightened out, keeps going. That is going to allow Rusty Webb to catch up to him, but Paul Ross still in that transfer area, only 4th right now. 5th is the final transfer spot being held on by Rusty Webb.
And I may have given the commentary curse to Paul Ross here tonight. I was really cheering for him too. I mean, I thought he would be a good contender with Peter Short, but Peter Short so far is doing a cakewalk.
Peter Short driving this car so smooth, making it look easy. And we're going to go ahead and go on board with Peter Short. Our T&D Rustic Decor on board with Peter Short as he gets up on the Iowa embanking. Turn 3 for Iowa Speedway. We're going to watch him take this sharp left-hander. Gets it in there nice and smooth. Over the jump. Lands it to perfection and across the start-finish line.
Got off that last corner really fast too. Oh, he gets close to the barrels, at least in my view that I'm looking at, but making it look easy, as you said, Kale.
He sure is. You know, he's not really putting the tire wrong. Doing a great job at just controlling the car. And like I said, he's not hustling it. He's not overly throttling up. So he's got that thing that I don't understand called throttle control.
I think there's a little bit.
Or
Has to be. unless I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But man, oh man, I am seeing his windshield wipers probably cleaning off some dirt off his windshield there.
Now we are currently looking at Nick Miller. Nick Miller is chasing down Rusty Webb. Miller has really closed the gap on him, and he doesn't want to go home. He's got 3 laps to get it done, though. I don't think he's got enough time.
I don't know. That first lap incident really cost Nick Miller, and he's been in 6th place ever since. But he is starting to gain slowly but surely to the 88 of Rusty Webb.
He sure is. Rusty Webb, final transfer spot. But Nick Miller, he can see him in his windshield, and he knows he's closing in on him.
I mean, he's got about coming to 2 laps to do it.
Peter Short checking in on him. I don't know why. He's in another zip code. But, you know, it's nice to check in on the leader every once in a while.
Yep, he's going to be coming to take a white flag lap here, and is coming down into this final corner. He'll be on the last lap for him.
Yep. Goes over the jump across the start-finish line. Final lap for Peter Short, looking to bring it home. So Peter Short going to be moving on, barring a tragic incident.
Boy, Wade Lear's actually gaining a little bit on Sam Close, but I don't think he's going to get him, though.
Wade Lear moving on so far in one of our transfer spots. But the battle between Rusty Webb and Nick Miller is really starting to heat up. These guys, Nick Miller doing all he can to not go home, trying to catch Rusty, hoping that Rusty makes a mistake. We're going to watch this to the end, and then we're going to pull in our heat race winner if we can track him down. Oh, man. Oh, Nick Miller going a bit wide there. And
Where's the rear tires?
Rusty Webb, oh my goodness, it's going to come down to the line. Oh, contact! Oh!
Yeah, that was a great finish right there. Wow.
Man, Rusty Webb holding on for dear life, gets across the finish line in the final transfer spot, but Nick Miller just laying it all out there. Almost made a great comeback story.
Hey, I tell you what, that push may have actually helped Webb, but that took Webb right out of the ball game off that hill there. But looks like Rusty Webb's going to advance.
Rusty Webb advances, but we have our leader and race winner, Peter Short, in the booth. Are you there, sir?
10-4.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to let Tanner Sharp give the interview for this one.
Peter, dominating performance here in the first heat race, and there's gonna be more competition in that main event. But talk about the first heat race here. What did you had to do? Is it slick out there coming off that banking of the racetrack? Because it seems like you were really making it easy out there. Take us through your race tonight.
Yeah, it's the track. When it starts out, it's actually pretty grippy, and then it starts to degrade as the race goes on. But yeah, that last corner that comes up off the banking, that corner is really tricky. The car gets really light, and you're trying to carry so much weight in the rear. It just really wants to turn around, and it's kind of tricky because you have to get the car wound up enough to A, turn the corner, and B, not slide the rear tire so you can get a really good launch out of the corner and flick it back to the right for that next right-hander. But it's a lot of fun out there. I'm really looking forward to getting into this main race.
Yeah, and speaking of that main race, now you're going to have a lot more competition, especially with drivers who are practically running the same lap times as you. How do you feel entering this heat race tonight?
The fun thing about this series is it's going to be a little bit of bumping and banging, I think. Drew looked really fast in the first heat race, so I got my eyes set on him, and can't riff him up too much. He's my team owner, but it should be a lot of fun in this next race.
All right, there, Peter. Well, thank you for coming to talk with us tonight, and good luck in the main event.
Thanks, sir.
All right, that was Peter Short doing a great job at getting it done out here tonight. I don't know what team you're on, Peter Short. Where do I put you back in your room?
As in Tech Enterprises, sir.
Tech Enterprises. All right. Yeah.
Battle of the teammates.
It sure is going to come down to that coming in. Wow, I am all sorts of tongue-tied. It is going to come down to that as these guys go into the main event, which is getting ready to come up. So, heat race number 2 in the books. What are your final closing thoughts for heat race 2?
Well, this probably wasn't as intense as the first heat race, but one thing I would have to take away is to make sure you're not caught sleeping at the start of the race, because you're going to have more guys in that main event here tonight, and Paul Ross was one of those guys who got caught sleeping at the start, but he made up for it, still advancing to that final main event. He finished 4th. Otherwise, try to take advantage of those other mistakes, and it's gonna be really exciting watching Eisman, Short, and Close, and Ross, and a bunch of other guys, especially from that heat race, that first heat race, really going at it.
All right, so the thing I would add is, I'm excited to see our heat race winners, who seem to be really, really fast, get out there and trade some paint and see a little bit of the strategy of when they take the Joker lap. Is one going to do one Joker lap? Are they going to do it at the same time? Are they going to do it at different times? I'm anxious for this coming up feature event.
Yeah, we're going to be really interesting to see who's going to utilize that Joker lap. And I know Paul tried taking that Joker lap earlier. That actually put him in the lead at one point of the race earlier in the. But like you said, beating and banging. Well, we did see that here in this last heat race with Rusty Webb and Nick Miller. So hopefully we can see more of that.
It is. All right. So your top 5 are Peter Short, Sam Close, Wade Lear, Paul Ross, and Rusty Webb. Those guys are moving on. But an unfortunate for Nick Miller, who laid it all on the line, did his best to try and make the show, but just quite didn't make it, fell a little bit short, so he's packing up, going home. But not for a lack of trying.
Not a lack of trying, but I'll tell you what, he did try, and he I mean, there's no shame in that whatsoever. He really tried, but costly mistake, unfortunately, would have to send you home, but there's always going to be more chances.
There sure is, and speaking of that, we're going to have to step away here so we can load up the next session. So, guys, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to play some commercials, and then we'll be right back.
like a movie, just like a storybook. We are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero. Rising like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero. Just like in a dream, just like in a dream.
The car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
we take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, folks, to tonight's main event. We are currently in practice for our main event. These guys getting some laps in, getting a feel for the track. Hopefully, we will see some epic racing tonight. In the booth with me, as always, and hopefully forever and ever, is Mr. Tanner Sharp. How you doing tonight, Sharp?
Good to be with you. It's been great watching those two heat races. Now we're down to the main event, and it's going to be an exciting main event. I can promise you that, because you got Peter Short now, Paul Ross, who were fast in the sessions or in the previous heat races. You got Drew Eisman, Jordan Teal, Kyle Hanshaw. You know, there's just so many talented drivers in this heat race here tonight, especially whenever they're doing any kind of road racing. I'm looking forward to some beating and banging in the first early stages, and who knows, maybe we'll have a side-by-side finish like we've seen with Rusty Webb and Nick Miller.
Yeah, so these guys taking to the track, doing some qualifying here. We were enjoying the scenic views of this Iowa Speedway Rallycross circuit, but right now we're watching Kyle Hanshaw, who managed to make it into tonight's main event and did so in spectacular fashion.
Definitely did. And I mean, tell you what, he started in ninth in that first heat race, and he finished third. So I mean, by taking that, and there was other mistakes with them guys ahead of him that just made mistakes on the track, smashing the barrels, etc. And he ended up getting third. And another driver that had a close call, almost getting eliminated from the second heat race, was Rusty Webb. So Rusty Webb has made the main event here tonight, beating out Nick Miller in a great finish, actually, close quarters contact. But right now, I'm seeing Jordan Teal, another fast driver. Paul Ross is a fast driver. Kevin Finn is a fast driver. I mean, all these drivers are really fast no matter where they go, even if it's on Rallycross. And I heard mention in the chat that Paul Ross, his first time tonight's ever doing Rallycross. And I'll tell you, he's doing a really good job.
He sure is. He's currently fourth on the timing score sheets for this qualifying session. And, you know, for his first time, doing a lot better than I think I could do. And I've turned more than one lap in these things.
I've actually, I don't want to say I've turned a lap yet, because every time I go out and turn a lap, I end up wrecking. So it's flat out saying that I don't know what the heck I'm doing in these Rallycross test sessions or whatever it would be. But I've never participated in a race like this. But who knows? I'll have to turn some laps when I find the time and get better at it.
Drew Eisman sitting in third spot. He was our Heat Race 1 winner. Somebody that we're going to look forward to watching in this main event. But Jordan Teal, you know, he's currently sitting second. being the upset driver between Peter Short and Drew Eisenman, are heat race 1 and 2 winners.
Yeah, we have a little less than 8 minutes left of this qualification right here to determine the starting lineup for this main event. It's 15 laps these guys are going to turn. Most laps that they're going to turn, that they have turned all night tonight, with the exception of the practice session that they had for about 30 minutes prior to everything happening. But Peter Short and Drew Eisman, I think, are going to be the guys that are going to be their biggest competition for this entire field. I know Jordan Teal is currently in second, but he's only a tenth ahead of Drew Eisman. And if Eisman can pick up that 1/10, then Eisman and Short will start side by side.
So Peter Short, Jordan Teal currently 1-2, Drew Eisman and Paul Ross 3rd and 4th. Kevin Finn rounds out your 5 top drivers here in this qualifying session. We're currently watching Johnny Thomas and the 83 machine. Man, Johnny Thomas, I think he's going to do some wild stuff here, try and make up for his qualifying position. If he can't get closer to the front runners, be looking for a good charge from Johnny Thomas going into turn 1 on the start of this race.
Yeah, I want to circle those two drivers there. One of them is Johnny Thomas and Kevin Finn. I think both those drivers can make something happen in this main event here tonight. Johnny Thomas usually does make something happen, especially on an oval standpoint. Has laying the weeds, and next thing you know, he's out towards the front. So you just never know with Johnny Thomas. He's like that sneaky guy. And along with Kevin Finn is fast no matter where he goes. But those two drivers, I think, will have a good top 5 finish tonight. That's just my guess, but we'll see.
You know, what I've learned about Global Rallycross as well is it's not necessarily always up to you where you finish.
That's really the case. That you got to prevent yourself from making mistakes, and you also have to prevent avoiding other people's incidents on track. We've already seen a couple guys get into each other or hit the barrels, and they're blocking up the traffic. And it's like, well, where do you put your car, especially in that dirt confined area after the hills? So it's something to really keep an eye on as this race is going to go on.
We're watching Sam Close, currently scored 5th in the Herbie machine. His number is number 5, and then he's painted on a 3 somewhere. Looking good on that. I love that paint scheme he's got. I'm a big old fan of Herbie the Love Bug.
I think a lot of these good drivers are kind of driving a little bit of a Herbie, but that Love Bug right there, Sam Close, he can be a Love Bug, but he's also a tough one too on track.
Gonna be tough. Starting 5th so far, scored 5th so far. And, you know, he's got Paul Ross, Drew Eisenman, Jordan Teal, and Peter Short all in front of him. These guys were all fast in the heat race. So, I got to tell you, Sam Close got his work cut out for him in this main event tonight.
Kyle Hanshaw wants to pull off another heat race number 1, because right now he's listed as qualified 10th last right now with a 41.205 compared to everybody else who's running either 40, and actually the top 8 drivers are in the 39 bracket. So who knows, Kyle might be another one that could lay in the weeds and get another 3rd place finish as he did in the first heat race. But and Rusty Webb too, you never know what Rusty could do as well.
Rusty, who we watched hold off a charging Nick.
Oh.
What? We got one flipping. Oh my goodness, who was that? Not sure who that was flipping, but meanwhile, Peter Short, Paul Ross, Jordan Teal, a little bit of a shakeup in the top 3 for our qualifying. Jordan Teal has fallen back to 3rd.
Yeah, Paul Ross, I'm kind of surprised just a little bit. I figured Eisman would be a little bit quicker. So far, he's still running them 39.7s. And Eisman, I know, is a great road racer as well. I mean, he's great on the road, and especially rallycross here. He did win the first heat race of the evening, but Drew Eisman currently in 4th right now compared to Short's 38.3s. So he's in the 38.3 bracket. So that's a pretty good margin to make up if you're going to try to beat Peter Short.
Peter Short really laying down another great lap. He did a 38.3 in his qualifying for his heat race. So, showing a little bit of consistency here.
Paul Ross is another one that definitely picked up. He's only 2/10 off that qualification time. So, you know, Paul, like I said back in heat race number 2, if he can just a good lap time and keep competitive with Peter Short, he can compete with him. Matter on keeping them lap times up, because lap times is going to be telling the story each lap on whether you're going to be gaining or losing.
Johnny Thomas, one we mentioned a little bit earlier, he's sitting 7th. Wade Lear, who we haven't talked about yet in this qualifying session, currently scored 8th. Wade, you know, he was in a great battle between him and Sam Close and
Paul
Ross in heat race number 2.
Yeah, just fall off the wheels just a little bit. And as what Peter Short said, you know, at the start of the race, it's grippy, but as the race goes on, it kind of gets slick, and then you start losing traction just a little bit. So with Wade Lear, I mean, competitive enough. It's a poor qualification time in the 39-8 bracket. But I tell you what, have a repeat of heat race number 2, he'll be a good contender for a top 5 spot.
Jordan Teal taking a quick exit through the wall there.
Already flipping, going through walls.
Hey, yeah. Why bother to slow down? Just hit a wall. Drew Eisenman, I'm voting now to call this guy Iceman because he impressed me in heat race number 1. Got a little bit out of shape, took the Joker lap, and never batted an eye on that opening lap. Recovered from his mistake very well and never looked back, and just smooth customer in heat race number 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do any kind of mistake in this race, but that was like a lesson learned. But that he pulled away from it, and I was with 9 drivers. Here in this race, we got 10, and this is the biggest field of the night. So it's really going to be interesting to see, especially with Eisman starting 4th. In heat race number 1, he started on the pole.
Yeah, Iceman, the Iceman Eisman has about 18 seconds to reclaim the top spot, but it sounds like this track is slicked off as more and more guys are spinning their tires, and if you're spinning your tires, you're losing ground. You're not moving forward as fast.
Not moving forward as fast, and that's going to be the key thing to watch as this race goes on, because we got more laps. It's more than 10 laps that like these guys were running tonight. It's going to be 15 laps, and that banking final corner from banking to apron like that, you got to be really careful.
Yep, checkered flag in the air. That's going to do it. Our qualifying top 10. This is their starting order. First place, Peter Short with a quick time of 38.386. Paul Ross, 2nd. Jordan Teal, 3rd. Drew Eisenman, 4th. Sam Close, 5th. Next 5, Tanner, I'll let you take.
Kevin Finn's going to start off in the 6th position. He'll be with Johnny Thomas in 7th. Wade Lear in 8th, Rusty Webb in 9th, and Kyle Hanshaw in 10th, looking to have a repeat of his first heat race.
Yeah, Hanshaw hoping that he can keep his nose clean, capitalize on other people's mistakes, move through the field. We just haven't seen the speed from him, but it's not necessarily about speed. He was very crafty in his heat race and pulled out a great finish.
Now it's time ready to go for the main event of 15 laps. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think we're going to have a very, very exciting race. This is the A main of 3 wide Triple Crown Rally event. These guys, they're taking to the grid. I'm excited. I bet turn 1, there's absolute chaos.
Hopefully Sam Close can get gridded up here and ready to go. He's the only driver that has yet to grid, and if he gets gridded up, man, it's going to be really exciting coming off that hill. Oh, boy.
Yep, these guys all sitting on the grid, just patiently waiting for 2 more cars. Johnny Thomas now taken to the grid, and we just have one of Sam Close yet to go, and there he is.
All right, here we go, waiting for the green flag to drop, and then it's going to be chaos from there. 10 drivers, 15 laps.
Sure is. Green is in the air.
Good Good jump by Eisman. I think Eisman had a better jump there. They're 3 wide coming through the first corner, beating and banging. The 14 is in the wall. The 14 back there is Kevin Finn.
Oh, and another one in trouble. Drew Eisman. I'm sorry. Wade Lear in trouble. More trouble.
More trouble.
All kinds of chaos.
Wow. 33 and 22 collided. The 18 actually got through unscathed by going through the middle. Bunch of other drivers involved. A big old stack up. Johnny Thomas has been involved.
This was a crazy, crazy start. We're going to check out a replay here. Not really sure. We're on Peter Short. Peter Short just getting wide, got sideways, a little contact from the 33. Stacked the field up. When the leaders get in trouble, it just stacks the field up with nowhere for anyone to go.
Very unfortunate because we got Drew Eisman and Kyle Henshaw who actually had to take a tow to the pits.
So Drew Eisman, the Iceman, the one I was counting on to make me sound smart and sophisticated as if I knew what I was talking about, because he was going to win this thing in the pits early. Like I said, man, it's not always about how good you are. Sometimes these races are out of your control.
Talked about it, that coming off that hill, that corner right there, how much of a chaotic thing it's going to be, as we may have a battle for the lead right here between Rusty Webb and Sam Close.
We sure do. Sam Close currently holding on to the lead. Rusty Webb barely made it into the show as charging.
Oh,
yeah.
Sam hit the barrier.
Sam hit the barrier, keeps going, but Rusty Webb now holding on to second spot. But I'll tell you, Wade Lear not too far behind him.
Lear coming up, nice strong. He actually just took the Joker lap. That's how he got there, and close enough to Rusty Webb for the second spot.
Sam Close in trouble over the jump. So Sam Close is going to lose the lead here as he went over the jump and landed in a very bad situation. Gotten it straightened out, though. That car's got some heavy, heavy damage to it, though.
New race leader, Rusty Webb in the 88, coming from 9th.
Rusty Webb is currently second. Paul Ross is our race leader. He is Paul Ross has gone into another zip code. You probably didn't even realize that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just clicking everywhere with my mouse right here on all sorts of action around the racetrack. Well, yeah, Paul Ross is really walking away with it right now. He actually really avoided that first incident with everybody in that coming off that hill down there. He actually cut right through the middle and got through unscathed.
So please bear with us. This is both myself and Tanner's first time broadcasting Global Rallycross. So it's a huge, huge learning curve for us. And I think these will get a lot better. Well, we better get them better because we only got 2 more shots at it after this.
And it's already been exciting since the drop of the green flag of heat race number 1, especially in this main event with everybody beating and banging off each other. It's just been crazy ever since the drop of that green flag, and Paul Ross is already walking away with it. Wade Lear is currently in second. Rusty Webb, I tip my hat to him. He almost got eliminated by Nick Miller in heat race number 2, and right now he's sitting comfortably in the 3rd spot.
He is, and man, he got in by the skin of his teeth, had contact with Nick Miller, but managed to get across the line first. Well, in compared to him and Nick Miller, but here he is running 3rd, and a great showing for him.
Short actually gained a little bit.
Peter Short, drove it in deep there on that last corner, trying to catch back up to these guys and get back into the lead after having that little bit of contact with the 33 of Jordan Teal.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying to gain back as much position on track as he can. I don't think a win is going to be in the books tonight, but he can certainly hunt down for a top 3 spot. Look at that. Wow.
What are we looking at? Kevin Finn and Johnny Thomas?
Yep.
Yeah, watching these guys. Really some close racing between these two. Having a great shot there as they're working through that hard hairpin left turn. Finn getting a little crossed up. Johnny Thomas going to sneak through.
Yeah, Finn fishtailed big time there, and actually took a really slow entrance, and it cost him time, and Johnny Thomas just snatched it away from him.
Yeah, so 8th place, Kyle Hanshaw, who I thought was Sam Close for a minute. Kyle Hanshaw running 8th, 2 laps down, maybe 3 laps down now. So he's back out there. I never saw what happened to Kyle Hanshaw. Was he caught up in that opening lap incident?
Yeah, I believe he was.
So Hanshaw able to keep going. Finn there once again, all crossed up.
Actually, yeah, he was involved in that first lap. He actually hit a barrier that caused him to flip his car over, so that's why he's multiple laps down.
So there you go. That's what happened to Kyle Hanshaw, but he's still out there turning laps.
Peter Short gets by Wade Lear now for second spot.
Peter Short making the pass there. Do a quick rundown. Jordan Teal sitting in the pits along with Drew Eisman. Those guys look like they're going to be done for this event. Both of them starting to pack up and head home.
Looks like Eisman he has disconnected from the server, so that's very unfortunate for Drew Eisman tonight.
So Peter Short, challenging situation for him here. Lost a lot of ground on the opening lap. Got 6 laps to go to reel in Paul Ross. But he's almost 14 seconds behind as we're watching now Paul Ross, who is just now going across the start-finish line. And Peter Short has still got quite a bit to go as he goes in the sharp hairpin left-hander as they transition now into dirt.
Yeah, right now coming across the start-finish line will determine how far back. He's gained a second just in 1 lap. So technically he's gaining a second each lap, and Paul Ross clearly Short is faster, but I don't think he's going to get to Paul Ross in time.
No, I think he's going to run out of time. Paul Ross, though, in control of his own destiny right here. Just got to run some clean laps, put down some solid lap times. Doesn't need to hustle the car. And, don't drive over your head here and just turn your own laps and bring it home.
I definitely missed it, but something happened to Rusty Webb. He actually, the driver, hit the barrels and flipped over. Rusty Webb actually took a tow.
So Rusty Webb in the pits.
Sam Close in trouble.
Sam Close once again into the tire barriers. That car having a bit of a rough race there. That car's got damage on all 4 corners. We saw him leading and then go over the jump and land horribly wrong and lose the lead because of it and taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, he should be able to get at least 6 out of it because Rusty Webb is still currently in the pits. Actually around the same lap right now, so Sam Close will probably more.
Checking in on Johnny Thomas, currently running 5th. Holding on to that final top 5 spot. Gets some good launch there. Oh, nose heavy on his landing there. Straightens it out, keeps going. Able to make the transition on this left-hand turn.
Yeah, he's got competition because just ahead of him is Kevin Finn. And that would be a battle for 4th place if Johnny Thomas can catch Finn.
Kevin Finn, we've seen overdrive a few times coming down off of the embankment of the Iowa Speedway. Get a little sideways, a little crossed up, but does a great job this time. Doesn't lose any time, and Johnny Thomas just trying to reel him in little by little.
Little by little, it's just a matter of does he have the time to make up that 2 seconds, catch Finn in 2 laps. I just don't know if it can be done, but Short is doing everything he can to catch Ross, but I think that the times are already ran out. We said that about 5 laps ago.
Yeah, Paul Ross on his final lap now. Peter Short just about 11 seconds behind him, barring a tragic accident, which could happen. I've seen it, mostly with goats though. Paul Ross now coming in through the final few corners. Man, sometimes I say stuff and I don't even know why.
Going through the banking of turns 3 and 4 of Iowa, but now coming down to the final corner is an E-brake corner. He's probably just going to take it nice and easy. He does. bring it into the dirt, up the hill, and toward the start-finish line. Paul Ross wins the main event at Iowa.
Paul Ross getting it done in a dominating fashion. Peter Short in trouble here. Peter Short looks like he's going to lose the spot to Wade Lear with his trouble. And he does. Wade Lear is going to be scored second. Put Peter Short in third as that left-hander coming down off the Iowa Speedway went horribly wrong for Peter.
Yeah, he lost it on the banking. The car just snapped loose.
Any other surprises that we need to watch out for?
I don't know. I think we're pretty good. Everybody's practically has finished across the start-finish line, but it has just been an exciting night all the way across the board.
All right, so working on pulling in our top three finishers: Paul Ross, Wade Lear, and Peter Short. And I'm going to go ahead and let you do the interview here. I have our third place finisher, Peter Short, in here with us.
What's going on, guys?
All right, Peter Short, you got a copy.
10-4.
Well, Short, it looked like you were the favorite, in my opinion, to win tonight's event, but take us through that first lap there. It looked like a pretty chaotic way, a chaotic start to the race.
Yeah, man, I don't know what happened. I felt like I got into, turn one okay, and I got clipped from behind, and it seemed like I just got sent right around, and I got stuck in the blue tire barrels, and I was in catch-up mode. I was able to get past Wade for second, and I hit the jump just wrong with about 2 or 3 laps to go, and it destroyed my right front, and I was crabbing for the rest of the race. And long story short, it was a shame to give up second, but that's how these races go. It was still a lot of fun. I absolutely love these things, and I'm looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, speaking of that, coming to the checkered flag there, you were on the banking of the track, and it just snapped loose on you. That I believe that was the case from your car, unless you did something wrong.
No, yeah, I like I said, 2 laps ago, I hit the banking wrong, or I hit the jump wrong, and it landed really hard on the right front, and it really damaged I would assume the right front suspension, and it was fine the first time by, but the second time by, it just all of a sudden, as soon as the weight shifted to the front of the car when I let off the gas, it just started spun. It just spun me right around. I did my best to try and get going, and almost put the car on. I think I did get the car on 2 wheels, but Wade was able to sneak by. But a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you have a third place finish in the main event, and you did win a heat race tonight. This has to give you a lot of confidence in Rallycross for the 3-Wide Racing League heading into next week on February 26th at the Lucas Oil Raceway. I don't know how much Rallycross you do on iRacing, but if you have done a few, how are the tracks different between Iowa and Lucas Oil?
Lucas Oil is from the ones that I've run. I've run all but Phoenix. Lucas Oil is a very technical track. It's more difficult than Iowa, in my opinion. Lucas Oil, the first corner is absolutely chaotic. There, it's kind of a 90-degree left-hander off the banking, and you can say that this corner or this track has kind of the corner off the banking that's bad, but ORP, whatever you want to call it, Lucas Oil, it's much more difficult in my opinion. So it'll be cool to see. We had speed tonight. Hopefully we can get that back at Lucas Oil.
All right, there, Peter. Well, thank you for coming to take the time to talk with us tonight, and best of luck next week again at Lucas Oil.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was our third place finisher, Peter Short. We appreciate him sharing some words with us. We're going to move on now to our second place finisher, Wade Lear. Mr. Lear, are you there?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, I'll tell you what, we were sitting there watching the race unfold on the final lap, and lo and behold, Peter Short got into a little bit of trouble, and you sneaked through second place. What a finish for you, bringing it home second. Give us a little bit of rundown of your race and how things were out there for 15 laps in the Global Rallycross.
Well, it was definitely a fun race. It was like on the first lap, kind of start. It was very chaotic, a lot of action, which I was surprised I didn't get caught up in it more than I did. And well, after I took the Joker, I was third for a while, and then I was able to get past, like I was able to get on the second, and then I realized I saw Peter coming, I realized he was faster than me, so I let him go, and then I didn't realize he had made this mistake until after I crossed the checkered flag. So to realize I finished second was pretty surprising to me. I really haven't done a lot of rallycross races on iRacing, so it was definitely fun, and I'm really looking forward for next week.
Well, we got 2 more rallycross events. Your first one, you bring it home second place. That's got to feel really good. So congratulations on that.
It does, and thank you guys. I gotta thank Johnny Thomas for allowing me to race for him and throughout all of the 3-wide racing leagues.
All right, well, we appreciate it, and we're going to move on now to our race winner, Paul Ross, getting it done here early in spectacular fashion. Mr. Ross, are you there?
Yes, I am. How's it going, guys?
It's going great, man. What a dominating race you had there. Lap 1 got really crazy in the right after the jump. Give us a little bit of rundown of your race and how you managed to get through that so smoothly.
Part of that was my fault. Peter slid out wide. Jordan Teal was on my outside. These cars, you can't use very much brake without it, pitching the car. So just barely dragging the brake into the corner and tapped Jordan, which pushed him further up into Peter, and then all hell broke loose. But I don't know. I want to apologize to everybody that was involved. This is a 3-race series, and that's not how I want to win. I don't know. It's crazy. I'm just watching the replay now. These cars have so little control, but they're so fun to drive.
Now, when you're going over the jump in this thing, and you have to transition as soon as you land into a left-hand corner, how do you prepare for something like that?
Yeah, you really try to take off the jump at the right angle so the car will kind of be set when you land. With these cars, especially in the dirt sections, going slow is definitely a lot faster than, hammer down. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure these things out. I only ran about 4 laps in one last night, and then everything I did tonight, that's the only experience I have in them.
Well, you know what? Pulling off a race win here tonight for the first event of 3 rallycross events. I'd say you did a good job tonight.
Yeah, if that first lap wouldn't have happened, I definitely think Peter would have ran away with this thing. But hell, I mean, it's new for everybody. I'll take it how I can get it and apologize to everybody that was involved.
Well, once again, race winner Paul Ross. Anybody you'd like to thank? Sponsors, people who got you here?
My teammates, we were all relaying information during practice and, kind of what gear to be in, where to be on the throttle, off the throttle. You guys for broadcasting all of our races, and a huge shout out to Corey Lindsay. Without him, none of this stuff would be possible or happening. So thank you, Corey, and thank you guys for showing up to broadcast this for us.
Well, you're welcome, and we appreciate the sentiment. So, Paul Ross, race winner tonight. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in the next Global Rallycross event at 3-Wide Racing.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Tanner. Man, first one's in the books, and I'll tell you what, that big learning curve for everyone involved, including us.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a learning curve. It was a great experience being up here in the booth, and my first time calling a rallycross race. It was very interesting to see how 3-Wide Racing League was going to host these events here tonight. But I tell you what, this league just gets better and better every single season, and it's great to see it come along this way since 2011. So these rallycross races are really fun to watch, and I'm really looking forward to next week at Lucas Oil Raceway, especially with I think what Peter Short just said. It's going to be more of a technical racetrack at Lucas Oil, so it's gonna be really fun to watch these guys wheeling and dealing it.
It sure is. So our final event, or our final results are Paul Ross, Wade Lear, Peter Short, Kevin Finn, Johnny Thomas. Those guys making up the top 5. The next 5, Tanner, you want to take us through them?
Yeah, Rusty Webb in the 88 is going to finish in the 6th spot. Sam Close in 7th. Kyle Henshaw will finish in 8th. Jordan Teal in 9th. And Drew Eisman finishes out in 10th.
All right, guys. That was an epic event. Thank you for sticking that with us here at Max Speed TV. Hopefully we'll see you all again next time. And, my final thoughts are what a race this was. What an event. Very glad to be part of 3 Wide Racing and being able to broadcast this for them. And, I can't wait for the next one. So, Tanner, anything else you'd like to add?
Really looking forward to these 3 crown races, Lucas Oil and Daytona. So it's going to be really exciting. And then after that, according to schedule, we'll be kicking it off with some NASCAR-style racing.
We sure are. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to Max Speed TV so you know when it's going live with some of the best iRacing broadcasts you can find. And that's going to do it for me. My name is KR Stolfus. I have Tanner Sharp in the booth with me. Very appreciative of his help tonight. And you know what, guys? Until we see you next time, have a good night.